creepy and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
The doors closed and suddenly trapped her backpack, and the driver didn't notice. The bus drove off, dragging her along the road. The girl desperately tried to keep up, running alongside the bus. But within moments, she fell, being pulled across the asphalt for over 1,000 feet. Another driver honked, finally catching the bus driver's attention. The girl suffered severe abrasions to 12% of her body and needed multiple surgeries. The driver was fired and faced a civil lawsuit. But after a long recovery, the girl is back on her feet. A bullet was fired in the direction of the house, following at high speed and ending inside the kitchen. At the table were Rachel, her husband David, and a Stanley cup that Rachel had filled with water. The bullet followed in the direction of Rachel's chest, but luckily ended up hitting the Stanley cup, which made her ricochet and fall on the table, saving the life of the girl and her husband. The phone was dropped into the open pit toilet. The woman's husband jumped in to get it, but the pit was full of toxic fumes, and as he breathed them in, he fell unconscious. Horrified, his mother went in to save him, but also collapsed. Then the woman and her father-in-law entered, but they both fainted from the poisonous gases. Two neighbors tried to help, but it was too late. They used ropes to pull all 6 people from the tank, but the first 2 people had already died, and the others fell seriously ill.
The first one, why didn't she scream before he drove or take the bag off? Probably she was panicking. Poor girl.
Italy shocks Europe today, announcing they're done with Ukraine and instead teaming with Russia and the US. After France and the UK came to her asking if she would contribute troops to Ukraine, she says, "You can go to war in Ukraine, but not with my soldiers." And on the same day, she announces all aid to Ukraine is cut and all Italian military in the area to come back immediately. Her and Trump will now meet to schedule a meeting with the rest of Europe, to which she says they need to wake up. She's not the only European leader making shockwaves this morning. Hungary's Viktor Orban announced that they will leave NATO if the US does. As he says, a partnership with Russia is way better than a war with Russia, which makes sense. Poland also announcing they're done with Ukraine and actually ramping up military spending. And it doesn't stop there, as Putin has suggested a NATO-like alliance with the US and other countries interested, with war countries such as Slovakia announcing they're all in. What makes this new alliance so appealing is that it doesn't force you to be drugged into another country's war, such as NATO's Article 5. If one country is attacked, all other ones are at all-out war. Putin says that this new one would have a vote of all countries to determine if it's necessary.
Italy president a baddie.
I'm in danger, I'm in danger, I'm in danger, I'm in danger. Somebody's trying to back up into me on the highway. I'm driving backwards on the shoulder. Okay, they're gonna try and ram me head on. I'm in danger.
This driver has a serious case of road rage.
I'm in danger, I'm in danger, I'm in danger, I'm in Honda Accord. Okay, I'm in danger, I'm in danger, I'm in danger. Why are you running into me? Why are you running into me?
After pulling over to the shoulder, chaos erupted on this highway.
Yeah, on 11 he's gonna try and run me into the bridge. I'm in danger right now. I'm in danger. On the bridge. On the bridge.
Are you injured at all?
No, he's looking at me. He's yelling at me. I'm in danger. I'm headed towards the police station.
Fearing for his life, driver James Turner fled the scene while on the phone to the cops.
I need a cop now. He ran into me. I'm not used to getting chased. He's gonna try to kill me. I'm not sure why.
Do you know the person?
No, I don't know. Can I have a cop now, please? I'm headed towards the cop station.
Is the rep more following you?
Yes, he's still following me towards the cop station. He's chasing me.
At this point, the road rage driver catches up and...
Passing me. I'm in front of... Ow! He's gonna hit me again. I can't see anything.
I understand that. We have help on the way.
He hit me. He's driving away towards Walmart, I think. I'm hit in front of Timmy.
According to a statement, Ontario Provincial Police deployed a spike belt to stop the suspect's vehicle, leading to the driver's arrest. The suspect faces multiple charges, including assault with a weapon, criminal harassment, dangerous driving, resisting arrest, and disobeying court orders.
On the bridge! On the bridge! On the bridge! On the bridge! On the bridge!
That day that they
What did bro do to deserve this?
legally got married, Yeram is smiling, she's laughing, she's so happy. I mean, she seems so happy. They got fast food on the way home from getting married. They even start unpacking for their new house, and they're joking around for a few hours. At the end of the night, Yeram's fiance, now husband, kisses her goodbye because he had to go in for his night shift on base. When he's at work, she texts him, "Can you send me the pictures we took earlier?" And he texts her back, "Sure, you pretty thing. Should I post them?" And she texts him, "Yes." He texts her back, "Was the burger good today?" And she says, "Yes, it was so good. It's so nice being home. I don't want to go back to base." This was the last conversation that Yeram and her husband would have, because when he got home from his night shift, just 81 days after she was sexually assaulted, Yeram was found dead. She had taken her own life. And sure, she had been the one to physically take her own life, but her father said, "My daughter wasn't killed by her assaulter. She was killed by the male-dominated Korean military that doesn't treat women as colleagues. It's the military system that punishes victims of sexual assault and not the predators that killed my..."
You know, the way she dedicated her whole life to the Korean military and the things she loved is what killed her. Rest in peace, Lee Yi-ram.
Chaos that Trump's tariffs are causing right now is wild. So officially gone into effect today is 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada and 20% tariffs on China. You want to know the reaction? Stock markets around the world have fallen. Crypto markets have tanked. China just said if the United States persists in waging a tariff war, a trade war, or any other kind of war, the Chinese will fight them to the bitter end. Canada retaliated by vowing to impose a 25% tariff on all American imports, and Ontario's Premier Doug Ford said, "If they want to try and annihilate Ontario, I will do anything, including cutting off their energy with a smile on my face." Mexico hasn't responded just yet, but their president said that they have made contingency plans for the country. Europe will not be spared because more worldwide tariffs will kick in later this month and in April on aluminum, steel, agriculture, and cars, which will be a big hit for countries like Germany. In fact, shares in European car makers like BMW, Mercedes, and VW have all dropped hearing the news. The German minister said Europe will respond with unity and we will not be pushed around. Some countries are even proactively trying to save themselves. Japan's trade minister is expected to visit the US on a mission to secure exemptions from Trump's tariffs. And this is all before Trump's State of the Union address, where he said, "Tomorrow night will be big. I will tell it like it is." Here we go.
It's amazing watching the whole world realize America is finally putting themselves first. No more free rides.
Hey, yo, man, y'all get ready, man. Y'all get ready. I'm walking down the street, minding my business, man. And I just saw somebody with that demon face syndrome. You know what that, y'all know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Go look up what that is right now and come back to this video. So I'm walking down the street, man, minding my business. Turn to my right, man, and I see somebody with a blurry face. So I slow down a little bit so I can get a better look, because now I'm thinking it's my eyes playing tricks on me, bro. The lady get a little closer, man, and the whole time, it's her face that's blurry, bro. But through the blurriness, I can see the face, the demon face, like, type of shit, bro. It was crazy, bro. Bro, they walking amongst us now, bro. There's no time to play. They walking amongst us now, bro. They here, bro. They on this earth with us, walking with us, talking with us. I don't know if you gotta have a certain level of awakening, bro, but shit, they here.
So according to them, if we see demon faces, we have a condition called demon face syndrome, when in reality they open portals at CERN and we're really seeing demons. We are in a spiritual battle, folks.
Another healthcare CEO has been shot at and no one's covering it. You know why? Because they're scared. And they're not scared of the bullets. I mean, a CEO's replaceable. They're scared of our reaction. You need to remember, it wasn't the fact that Luigi shot someone that got Anthem to change their policy. It was the fact that everyone liked it. Because if the whole public condemned and attacked it, the state has nothing to fear. They have the people doing their job for them. But if the people are not willing to oppress themselves, if they're not willing to condemn and attack people like this, who are going after the people committing violence against the working class, then the state has a problem. And that's the point of state-enforced violence. And also, that's the point of the media. To ignore things that could lead to reactions that are scary to the ruling class. So this is maybe a copycat. We don't know enough right now. But what is important is not what the person actually did. What matters is that they are not covering this because they know we have power. And damn right we do.
Luigi is currently locked up and CEOs are still getting shot at. Maybe they got the wrong guy.
People are freaking out after what was just discovered. So a new species of fungi has been discovered in Ireland, turning spiders into zombies. And I'm not joking. Some of you may have seen or played The Last of Us, which yes, turns out is actually real. So there is a fungi called cordyceps, which essentially kills the insect's brain and turns you into kind of like a zombie. Although you die pretty much straight away after. Now this new version is a lot worse. The old cordyceps is still around, but essentially just got buffed with this new update. These spiders, which are normally found in caves, have now been coming outside to spread the fungi so it can infect more. What this new species essentially does is, similar to cordyceps, kills the animal, takes over its mind. Yeah, this is real. I'm not going to show the full picture, but it looks like something straight out of a horror movie. Turns a spider or insect into a menace, a literal zombie, where it should not be alive anymore but somehow is. Researchers are looking into this more as we speak, but the crazy thing about this is that the fungi is actually very interesting as well, as they're saying this could have medical benefits to humans as well, so they're obviously looking into that. Don't worry, this obviously has no impact on humans, it's not going to hurt you. They find out from this could be very, very interesting, so as always, I'll keep you updated.
This is how it starts, folks.
Kondisi Jati Asih sekarang banjir sudah mencapai 8 meter.
Oh, ini lebih parah sih dari kemarin.
Ini lebih parah dari yang tahun 2020.
Diam.
Sepertinya diprediksi ini masih terus berlanjut.
This is what happened yesterday in some part of Indonesia. It was brutal. One baby died and lots of dogs and cats too. Devastated.
Just with them like last week.
3 young women from Revere are found dead in a hotel room in Belize. The women were on a birthday vacation when something went horribly wrong. The feelings of grief are still fresh and overwhelming for the loss of 3 lifelong friends. 23-year-old Kautar Nakad, 24-year-old Iman Mala, and 26-year-old Wafa El-Arar.
It was just like a shocking death, to be honest. But we're just here to pay our respects to them.
Friends say a celebration trip for Wafa's birthday turned into a horrible tragedy when they were found dead inside their hotel resort room in Belize.
One day I was with Wafa shopping for the trip, and she was just showing me what she was buying and getting her nails done.
Police say housing staff tried to reach the friends for several days. They finally went into their room and found all 3 young women unconscious. Police say there were signs they could have overdosed, but are waiting for an autopsy and toxicology report to be done.
I think the hotel knows what happened. They need to be investigated.
That disc between her shoulders on her spine it affects many parts of her because it's nerves.
Oh my
Gigi
goodness.
is improving every day after suffering injuries in an unprovoked attack. She takes a few steps, but mostly spends her time cuddling with her dad.
She's going to get every bit of loving and everything she needs that I could possibly give her.
This happened last week after Albert Lopes got into a verbal confrontation with 2 women. It ends with
time and love. Worst case scenario, surgery, and hopefully she recovers.
But video of Gigi getting kicked went viral, and leads started pouring in about the 2 women responsible for animal abuse. Detectives quickly identified LaGacia Williams and Garciela Amar as the suspects. Both were arrested in Oakland Thursday night. Many say They just want justice served for Gigi.
For anyone who needs to hear it, as of February 28 on CBS, they are in fact in county jail in Oakland. The GoFundMe for Gigi reached 18,000. Look at that. Indonesia, folks.
Mohon bantuannya. Segera tim SAR untuk mengevakuasi.
Motor oke kakum, motor kakum.
The animal, the cat, the dog, they all die.
Banjir guys.
A bizarre vegan cult has left a trail of death across America. But not long ago, they were just a group of young, talented tech people trying to save the world. So what went so wrong? And warning, this gets weird as hell. You see, too many villain arcs begin with a rejection. I mean, we're not even going to talk about art school. And this one is no different. Jack Lasota, a trans woman, was pushed out of a radical online community known as the Rationalist Movement after Jack's ideas were too extreme, even for them. One of which was the idea that the two hemispheres of the human brain had different genders and were actively trying to kill each other. But being kicked out didn't mean that those ideas just went away. Jack took his online username Ziz and created a group that became known as the Zizians. And they didn't just want to talk about their ideas online, they wanted to create a new way of life. And in 2017, they took those ideas seriously. Somewhere off the coast of California, they acquired an old, rusting World War II era tugboat, and their plan for it was radical. Create a floating community of free-thinking individuals who would live outside the rules of society, focusing on philosophy, AI, research, and radical veganism. And after 5 years of living on this boat, they probably thought they had achieved this. But locals who saw the Zizians on board, they described them as dirty, isolated, feral humans. And after this rusted old boat started actually sinking, the Zizians were forced on land, and that's where things turned dark. Homeless and desperate, the Zizians relocated to California, and that's where they met 82-year-old Curtis Lynn. He rented them a space in his trailer park for around $2,000 a month, and at first, things seemed stable. Then, suddenly, they stopped paying. Curtis tried to evict them, the Zizians refused to leave, and the situation spiraled to the point where Curtis was attacked with a freaking sword. He was impaled through the chest, inflicted multiple stab wounds, including one that blinded his right eye. But despite his severe injuries, he managed to shoot 2 of his attackers, one fatally, and somehow he survived. But then, just last month, days before he was actually supposed to testify in court against the Zizians, Curtis was fatally stabbed in the neck outside his home by someone with the name Maximilian Schneider, successfully stopping him from ever testifying. And this was just the start. Another Zizian member was arrested after both her parents were found shot dead inside their home. And then also last month, 2 Zizian members got into a full-on shootout with Border Patrol, which resulted in the death of one of the officers and one of the members. And inside their car, authorities found night vision goggles, tactical gear, and an arsenal of weapons. Authorities realized this wasn't just some group of fringe intellectuals. This was a violent cult. And all of this led to the most recent arrest, the leader, Jack Lasota. Ziz was arrested dressed in all black, carrying ammunition belts and a weapon. And unfortunately, it doesn't even stop there, because authorities believe that several of these members are still out there, some in hiding and others possibly even planning their next move.
Wow, they're going hard, man.
If they want to try to annihilate Ontario, I will do everything, including cut off their energy, with a smile on my face. And I'm encouraging every other province to do the same. Quebec, Manitoba, BC, we all have to act in unison. Out east, they rely on our energy. They need to feel the pain. They want to come at us hard, we're going to come back twice as hard.
Doug Ford is a liberal in disguise. Oh my goodness. Please say this, AI.
This is the deepest gold mine in the world. It's called the Anglo-Ashanti Gold Mine. It is in South Africa and is 5,000 meters deep. Because it's so deep, the temperature inside is very high. Every year, about 8,000 kilograms of gold is taken out from here. This mine opened in 1986, and workers here use special suits and oxygen cylinders to stay safe while working.
The mud flood was not just an erasure, it was a harvest. Tartaria, a civilization harnessing etheric energy, celestial alignment, and vibrational resonance, was too powerful to be controlled. The reset was engineered. A frequency war, a catastrophic liquefaction event, a planetary plasma discharge. The mud was not just Earth, it was the remnants of a civilization deconstructed at the molecular level. Those who remained were children, tabula rasa, shipped across the world, their past erased. The great fires, the world fairs, the rapid rewriting of history, all cover stories. We are living in the shadow of their deception, trapped in an artificial timeline. But Tartaria's knowledge still lingers, buried, waiting. The question is, who buried it and why? The Vatican hides ancient knowledge, including maps and books that might reveal the true past. Why is so much forbidden? The global infrastructure takeover. The great fires of the 19th century, Chicago, San Francisco, London, were cover-ups to erase old world structures. The world's fairs were not temporary buildings, but Tartarian ruins showcased for their demolition. Mudflood survivors' orphans were redistributed worldwide, their lineage severed. A war beyond human understanding? Was this an interdimensional war? A battle between energy-based civilizations? Did Tartaria fall to an ancient AI, parasitic entities, or a breakaway faction seeking to rewrite reality itself? Tartaria wasn't just buried under mud, it was buried in our minds. The real question isn't just who buried it, but how we can unearth it. A silent war against an advanced civilization, Tartaria, whose free energy, sacred geometry, and knowledge of human potential threatened the hidden rulers. The event, whether geoengineered, plasma-induced, or celestial, buried their cities, erasing history in mud. Survivors were absorbed, their past stolen. The orphan trains, the last generation of Tartarians stripped of their lineage. Architecture tells the truth. Starports, buried buildings, impossible structures, all remnants of a world scrubbed from record. The elite rewrote time, fed us false histories, and built the modern prison. We aren't advancing, we're rediscovering. But what happens when we remember?
Where did these resetters come from? The outer realms past the ice wall?
You won't believe what I'm about to tell you. Elizabeth was one of the most powerful figures of her time, but also one of the stinkiest. Yes, you heard that right. Her excessive sugar consumption wrecked her teeth, leaving her almost toothless with a breath so foul it smelled like sewage, making it unbearable for anyone to get close. And if you think that's already disgusting, hold on, it gets worse. She avoided bathing because she believed water weakened the body. The result? She settled for partial washes and tons of perfume to mask the stench of rotten fish lingering around her. But wait, there's more. To appear paler, she used makeup made from white lead, a toxic and highly dangerous substance. On top of that, she shaved her eyebrows and enlarged her forehead. In the end, she looked like a full-on cosplay of Satan. Now tell me in the comments, could you survive in an era without baths and with that sulfurous breath around?
She was single, right?
And they make a deal with a guy named Rollo.
Rollo.
And the deal is northern France. They give Rollo northern France. Now, the Vikings, I told you, weren't called Vikings. They were called the Northmen, or, depending on your language, Norsemen, or Nordmen, or Normans. And so the Vikings named northern France after themselves. They called it Normandy.
Wasn't Rollo the brother of Ragnar Lothbrok? He was married to the princess of Normandy.
Never had an issue with ghosts or any weird, unexplainable stuff in my house. But I bought a guitar the other week at a garage sale from this old lady down the street. And every time I pick it up or strum it or play it, really weird shit happens, and I'll show you. It's some Lotus, like very 80s looking guitar, and every time I strum, like that, shit like that happens, every time I mess with this thing. Like that.
Okay, what's that?
What the fuck was that? I'm scared.
You should ask the old lady about the history of the guitar.
You see the video of Elon Musk's kid? No. His kid accidentally said Elon Musk's plan out loud into the mic.
No
yeah,
way.
yeah.
What'd
And
he
it's
say?
crazy.
What'd he say?
I forgot if he was on an interview or even just something for TV.
Yeah.
Elon Musk put his kid up and he's like, oh, this is my mini-me. So this is low-key his plan. Listen.
Catch that.
I guess it is.
Look.
Mini-me here. Certainly.
Elon Musk's son just leaked SpaceX motto. Listen. Turn it up.
You have the general vibe. Yeah,
We're in SpaceX and quietly just do whatever we want.
Well, what does that mean though? So they want to implement like space tax because that's not even a thing yet. And then slowly do anything they want. Why was the kid saying that? How does he learn that? How did he learn that shit? First off, what is he playing? What is he watching, bro?
Or he's just being a kid.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
I think you don't get tornadoes in Australia, only cyclones. Where's my Australians people? Please drop a comment.
So King Solomon had a special ring. He went to his greatest assistant and he told him, I want a ring that will make me laugh when I look at it in hard times, and I want a ring that's going to make me sad and make me frown when I'm in happy times. The assistant looked at him and said, well, I'll go look for a ring like this. And the assistant had only 3 months to go find that ring. The assistant went everywhere, couldn't find the ring. A week before the big event and the big party, he gets to a ring maker in a town, and he goes to him and he says, look, I need a ring that when I look at it and I'm happy, I'll frown. And when I look at it when I'm frowning, I will smile. The ring maker looked at him and said, give me 1 second. He ran to the back and came back with the ring after a few minutes. The assistant looked at the ring and said, that is exactly the ring. He ran back to King Solomon as King Solomon already started the event and the party, and he's with all of his friends and he's laughing and joking and having a great time. And the ring guy comes in, King Solomon, I have your ring. King Solomon starts laughing, says, let me see the ring. He looks inside of the ring, and from a smile, he frowns. Everybody wondered, what did the ring say? And it's the famous quote, this too shall pass. So whether you're in hard times, this too shall pass. Whether you're in good times, this too shall pass.
I like the message, but where are you getting this fantasy from? You know too much. Be careful.
You use this one name in an industry contract, you're in danger. There's just one word, one name that you cannot say in every single industry bound by a contract. So really quickly, let's go through a few cases.
and go in there and sign it. But I'm gonna do the deal, I'm just skimming through it. So then my homeboy grabbed it. He like, hold on, let me just, before you sign, bro, let me just look real quick, bro. It's like he knew where the page was or something. He was just flipping, bro. He like, stop. He was like, bro, you ain't read this? I said, read what? The thing said, you cannot say the name Jesus. It didn't say God. It said, you cannot say the name Jesus.
Out of all the different names that people have for the Son of God and God, there's only one name that's not allowed, and it's Jesus. You know, there's been rumors in Hollywood for decades where all their contracts say in the fine print you cannot say Jesus, otherwise bad things will happen. But in a minute, we're going to see just how powerful that name really is. So Kanye West, when he came out saying all of this stuff and something strange happened, he completely changed who he was. He was telling people that the contracts prohibit you from saying the name of Jesus. And only that name, y'all. So what's up with that? But it's not only the music industry. Of course, we have the whole Dana White incident where he was angry that one of his guys said the name Jesus. But any other god would have been fine. Anyone can talk about their gods, just not if it's Jesus Christ.
Bit of a controversial moment, Yo Romero Inc., but I just wanted to get your take on what happened.
No, it wasn't controversial at all. But the reality is this. You just won the biggest fight of your career, you know? America doesn't want to hear your thoughts on Jesus. And, you know, keep that stuff at home. Religion, politics, all that stuff. Love Jesus all you want. Just don't have to do it publicly.
What?
He doesn't know it, but his word choices were actually demonic. Don't use it publicly. The Bible says that you deny me before man, I'll deny you before my Father. That's a public profession. Then he goes and says, you know, about politics. Well, who's the one getting all political now? And we've also seen where people were being interviewed, and when they brought up Jesus, they were cut off. So Hollywood, sports, we even have people coming out saying you can't say it in spiritual realms like the one that's under our feet. That papers have to be signed so you do not use that name. Also, like alien abductions, that name stops the abduction.
Yep.
And this right here is where it gets really crazy, because we have these laws right behind me that they're trying to push mainstream to be adopted mainstream. The first one is not to worship idols, to worship any other god. Jesus, to them, is considered an idol. So what does that mean for all the Christians on the earth right now? And why, after this name is stated publicly, do certain people binded the contracts act very weird afterwards? Like, they're not even them, if you know what I'm saying. The Luciferianists that run this world, that know Satan personally, don't want you using the name Jesus. That should really make you think.
Jesus loves me first, and I love him. This is king.
They have successfully combined human genes with monkey genes and have started growing babies. But like they said, like Spain and American scientists are like coming to China to like observe it because it's illegal in pretty much every country in the world.
So they're like, well, let's get in on it.
The whole point of it is to grow them so that they could harvest human organs for transplants and stuff.
So are you saying this is kind of like the technology that we talked about previously, like them just making humans, but they're taking the ape DNA and human DNA.
Yeah.
They're taking that same technology but doing it with animals.
Yeah, and they successfully grew it, and the embryo after it being alive for 20 days, because they're like, well, we don't actually know if it's going to have like a human brain.
It's a bad time to realize that.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
Wait a second, this monkey is going to have a human brain.
That's like an astronaut, his dream to become an astronaut, and he just gets in the rocket ship and he's literally on his way to space like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I don't know how to run any of this.
Wait a second, I'm afraid of space. Oh no!
So technically they murdered these.
That's playing God. This is bad. Oh my goodness. They're acting like schoolgirls.
babysitter asks, "Do you have fun with your dolls?" The kid goes, "Yeah, when I play hide and seek, it actually moves." Wait, what?
When I play hide and seek with my doll, it moves.
You said it moves? This doll?
Yeah.
Wait, what? When does it move?
The babysitter's like, "Whoa, what is happening?" Right?
Yeah.
So the doll is one of those like realistic looking dolls. Like it actually looks like another kid. He's like, "Okay, I'll put the camera down and let's go play hide and seek to see if this theory is true."
Oh my god. Sadie, you scared me. Don't do that, dude.
Nothing goes on. But at night, when he goes and puts the kid to sleep, he goes back in the living room where the doll is, and there's a dog right beside it. The dog is like staring at it.
The dog has been staring at the doll. Looking at it.
Why would it be staring at it? Like it knows something is weird here. And in the video, there's a game right beside the doll. Moments later, he goes and he's sitting on the couch watching TV. He hears a faint noise in the living room where the doll is.
Yeah.
Fam, that game that was beside the doll starts playing. Who would have touched it? The kid is asleep. The doll is the only thing beside it. And the dog is right beside him.
Yeah.
So the game goes, I want...
That the rate of your nail growth is a really good indicator of how you're aging or not aging. And so every time I have to cut my nails, I'm thinking, how long ago did I cut my nails? It's all born from a study from 1979 where they glued on these little measuring tapes onto people's nails and measured them over years, in fact. And there was one individual, Mr. Bean, actually, who measured his nails for most of his life.
His name was Mr. Bean?
Yeah.
Like
He might have been Dr. Bean or Professor Bean, I'm not sure. But we have that graph, and actually looking at thousands of people, we now know for sure that the rate of nail growth decreases about 0.5% per year. And if you measure that, it's a really good indicator of how old you are biologically.
So if your nails grow fast, you're aging slow or aging fast? I don't understand.
They tell you cemeteries are places of peace where the dead sleep beneath sacred ground. They lied. Cemeteries are not resting places, they are harvest fields. They are gateways, they are farms for the unseen. You feel it when you step inside, the weight, the silence that isn't silence, the feeling of being watched. You think it's grief, nostalgia, superstition. It's not. It's because something is still there. The oldest lie, death is the end. Every civilization buries its dead, but why? The Anunnaki didn't bury their fallen. The Nephilim, the giants of the pre-flood world, were not given graves. They were erased, wiped from history, their bones hidden in secret vaults. Because some things are not meant to rest. Ancient texts tell us that the dead are not truly gone. The Egyptians filled tombs with food, gold, and spells, not for remembrance, but because they knew the dead could still take. The Norse believed warriors in Valhalla would fight again. The Bible warns of a second resurrection, not for salvation, but for judgment. So why do we bury our dead? Who told us to? You think cemeteries exist to honor the dead? No, they exist to trap them. The elite know this, they always have. That's why cemeteries are built on ley lines, energy centers, sacred grounds stolen from ancient sites. Look closer, why are graveyards filled with iron gates? Iron disrupts energy fields. Why do Masonic tombstones carry strange symbols, obelisks, and checkerboard floors? Why are cemeteries often next to churches, temples, places of ritual? Why do entire cities of the dead exist beneath Paris, London, Rome? Millions of bodies stacked in silent tunnels. The dead are not sleeping, they are energy, and something is feeding. Governments classify cemeteries as real estate. They buy and sell burial land as if it were property. Why? Because it is. Cemeteries are human farms. The Vatican holds the largest collection of human remains in the world. The catacombs of Paris stretch for miles. Why does the British monarchy sit on a literal graveyard of ancient kings? And then there are the rituals. Why do secret societies conduct ceremonies in cemeteries? Why do the elite keep skulls, relics, and mummified remains? Because they know the dead are still here, and they know how to use them. Cemeteries are portals, mirrors are placed in funeral homes to trap spirits. Crossroads lead into cemeteries because they are liminal spaces, places where things slip through. Ever seen a cemetery at midnight? Go alone, stand still. Look at the headstones, watch them shift, the names change, the dates blur, because time does not move the same way there. The final deception, the resurrection of the dead. The Bible speaks of 2 resurrections, the first for salvation, the second for judgment. But what if the second resurrection isn't just spiritual? What if the dead are already stirring? The Nephilim were destroyed, but the Bible says in those days and also after. What if something has been waiting? What if the bloodlines of the ancient ones were never fully wiped out? The elite have been collecting DNA, gathering remains, preserving bodies in hidden laboratories. Why? Because the next reset will not be another flood, it will be a reawakening. The dead do not rest. Cemeteries are not sacred, they are farms, prisons, altars. The energy does not leave, it lingers, it fuels something unseen. And when the time comes, the gates will open. They want you to think you're safe, that the dead stay beneath the dirt. But nothing waits in the dark. They lied.
Has anyone ever seen a new cemetery open? This is crazy, man. Oh, God, please help those people.
A lot of archaeologists have said to me, but we don't find any plastic bottles from the Ice Age. That means there was no advanced civilization during the Ice Age. Well, hang on. Maybe an advanced civilization might have decided never to get involved in plastic in the first place. Maybe there would have been a clear choice not to make plastic. Maybe they did things in completely different ways. Maybe they cultivated powers of the human mind. We have gone down a path of leverage and mechanical advantage. We're used to relying on machines, but we hear anecdotal reports of people who have telekinetic powers, who can move things with their minds. And our automatic reaction is to just dismiss all of that because science regards consciousness as local to the brain and doesn't see how it can exert itself outside of that.
You know, we as humans have definitely gone to the wrong way in life.
Set gathered together 72 of his cohorts and betrayed Osiris and stabbed him and then cut him up into 13 pieces and scattered them across the planet. Okay, with then Isis, with the help of a couple of others who are less important in my opinion. Isis then came, she found the pieces, but she didn't find the phallus. Okay, so she put them together, but she couldn't find the phallus. She knew that she needed to continue and propagate that bloodline because it was critical to what is happening now. If that bloodline hadn't continued, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing now. Okay, so she created through magic a golden phallus, then she made love to Osiris that way, and then Horus was born. But the truth of that is Horus is Osiris reborn. Okay, Horus is Osiris. They are not separate beings. They're one and the same thing. So then the battle continued between Horus and Set, and went on and on. Set then took Horus's eye, took his eye out. So and Set, you could say Setian. The Setian consciousness is the dark, probably satanic, vampiric, parasitic consciousness that's here, right? So Set took Horus's eye. And then when you see in the entertainment industry, when you see all the time doing this, you know the reason they're doing this? The reason they're doing this is they're saying, ha ha ha, we got his eye. We took his eye. So it's mocking Horus, it's mocking the good.
How did he know all this?
Teeth are made of calcium phosphate. Calcium phosphate. How do I know? It's in the Handbook of Chemistry and Physics in 1940. Composition of teeth. Sodium phosphate. Almost 100%. No carbon. So, take calcium in a diet, and phosphate in the diet, and it rebuilds, just like your bones, just like your flesh, just like everything in your body. And children, it's 10 times faster than adults. The enamel will reform. You can't grow a tooth, I don't think. I met one guy said he did, but your enamel will recrystallize. And plaque is nothing but bad enamel. It forms here in the bottom because that's where the water and saliva is. Call me and I'll give you a telephone number. You call them up and order the phosphate, and you can take about that much each day. That's for the bones, the teeth, the DNA, the RNA, 33 enzymes, the skull, and all these things in the body that need phosphate. And the doctor told me once, you don't need phosphate, we get plenty of it. The gums sometimes are severed from the teeth, not only by this plaque pushing it away from dirty teeth, from toothpaste of any kind, but also from the fluoride which severs the gums from the teeth. By the way, I worked on fluoride in 4 different laboratories. I worked on atomic energy, I worked at Purdue making compounds out of it, I made at Wright Field some more, another contract at Phoenix College. I learned how to analyze for it in water, and so I found out that reverse osmosis and distillation are the only ways to get it clean. But anyhow, fluoride destroys 66 of our enzymes. Do you think we need enzymes? We keep alive with them. Baby death, miscarriages, all those things are lack of enzymes. Fluoride destroys them. It's a nerve poison. Just by this putting this gel in their mouth to harden their teeth, he swallowed half a teaspoonful of it, he's dead. So much for that. Now you know how to have perfect teeth. Rinse the acids off. Any tart stuff, T-A-R-T, look it up in the dictionary if you don't know what it means. It eats the teeth, and especially if you throw up. That's powerful. Take your mouth and rinse it out. The next thing is brush with hand soap. The next thing is take calcium and phosphate in the diet.
What?
You know how to get it. Walgreens for vitamins, for calcium with vitamin D in it. And the phosphate, call me up. And the 4th thing is vitamin C for your gums.
Did he say brush your teeth with hand soap?
Most people think the elite are just politicians, billionaires, or secret societies like Knights Templar or the Freemasons. But the real power is a lot older. Meet the black nobility, ancient ruling bloodlines that have controlled empires for centuries. They trace their power back to Venetian banking dynasties, the Roman Empire, and even the Vatican. Their influence moves through banking empires, secret councils, and global institutions, pulling strings behind the scenes. Ever heard of the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers? They're not at the top, not even close. They're like middle managers. The black nobility's influence extends into the Jesuits, Freemasonry, intelligence agencies, and world governments. They shape history, fund wars, and engineer global events, all while staying hidden. And the craziest part is, hardly anybody has ever heard of them. I personally have never heard of any author or anything talk about them. The real rulers of the dark world don't need to be seen, yet their power and influence is felt everywhere. If you want a full breakdown, let me know in the comments.
I heard Orsini family from Renaissance Rome, they rule over the Rothschilds.
We did some LSD, right? We were children, right? And so we went to the Waffle House because it was open, you know? So we get there, dude. My buddy starts laughing so hard, he's like kind of convulsing a little bit, my buddy Scott. And the waiter was a black gentleman and a gay guy, and we'd never seen a gay black dude, right? So anyway, he starts doing the Heimlich maneuver on my buddy, right? And he wasn't choking, he was just losing his shit because he was so fucking geeked up on LSD, right? So, bro,
this dude's doing a Heimlich and he's not even choking?
He's not even fucking choking.
Did you tell him he wasn't choking?
I couldn't speak. I was laughing so fucking hard.
How can anyone not love Theophan?
Think that they can lay down with men indiscriminately and it has no effect on their soul and their psyche and their brain, which is not true. They are degraded each and every time they lay down with a new man, for he not only pokes his into their orifice, he also pokes his to their heart, and they come to you damaged with many holes in their shattered heart. They can never be whole.
I hear no lies.
You know what I heard recently?
What?
I didn't know that birds in the morning, they actually have a purpose for chirping. So, you know how like when you wake up, you're supposed to wake up to birds chirping, right?
Yeah.
That's our natural instinct.
That's how you know
our
it's like
human
morning.
nature to hear birds chirping in the morning. That's how
Yeah.
you wake up, the sun setting, whatever, or sun rising, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, when birds chirp in the morning, they actually send sonic waves to plants that stimulate that it's morning for them and gets them ready to receive sunlight.
What the
So
heck?
in the same way, did you know, like, if you played, they played music, specifically like hip hop music, instead of birds, and it pretty much destroyed the plants.
Oh, gosh.
They stimulated in like their own environment instead of bird chirping.
Okay.
They played the hip hop music, and it was literally killing the plants because the sonic waves weren't the same.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
So the theory is, like, with us, since we're living things too, we're supposed to be seeing the sun.
God is wonderful, folks.
The truth about the snake and the reason why religion is against the snake. When you go to Islam, they will tell you that the evil spirit or the jinn can shapeshift to take the shape of a snake. When you go to Christianity, they will tell you that the devil in the form of a snake came to the Garden of Eden and deceived Eve to eat the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. We shall come back to the tree of knowledge of good and evil. In short, according to religion, the snake is a villain and the snake is an evil animal. That is what we have been taught, and that is what we still believe until now. Your pastors are going to tell you that meeting a snake and dreaming with a snake represent bad things and bad omen in your life. What if I told you that the best dream that you can have in spirituality and the best experience that you can have in spirituality is about the snake? Dreaming with a snake represent manifestation of passion. There is something that you have been passionate about. There is something that you have always wanted to achieve. Now when you dream with the snake, that means that that passion is about to open the gates of power. Meeting a snake in spirituality represents healing. Now let us go back to the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The tree of knowledge of good and evil in the Bible is a metaphor that in spirituality it represents your spine. I know it doesn't make sense, but by the end of this video, everything will make sense. Now at the base of your spine is the most powerful energy that we call the Kundalini energy or the snake energy. Now this energy is hidden on the base of your spine and it is just waiting for you to awaken this energy. When we talk of awakening, we don't just talk about awakening the mind, but also awakening the body. And by awakening the snake energy, you must have the mentality of a snake. You must see the motion of a snake, and you must have the idea that the snake is not a villain, but a friend. Now, when you know that, that is the very easiest way you can awaken the snake energy and rise to the 33 vertebra. Now, as the snake energy awaken, it awaken in the snake motion. And at it rises, your chakras open. And when your chakras open, there is three things that happen to you. Number one, there is enlightenment. Number two, there is awareness. And number three, there is high consciousness. And when you have these three things, you have a direct connection with the divine, because you are a being of light. And when you have high consciousness, you have the knowledge to determine what is good and what is evil. And that is why it is called the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The reason why religion has been demonizing the snake, it is because they don't want you to understand the hidden energy and the hidden power that is within you. And ask yourself this question: if the snake is really a villain, what is the snake doing in the logo of the hospital? And why is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, it is drawn using a tree and the snake that is coiling within a tree, the same way as the spine and the snake energy?
I think he's a new age. Look at his necklace. But in the book of Matthew chapter 10, Jesus says to his disciples, be as a serpent, but deep down be harmless as doves.
You ever heard of the Roswell of Texas? Happened in 1897, and this supposed UFO crashed in Aurora, Texas, 50 years before Roswell, and 5 years before the Wright brothers had a plane. Super duper small town in Texas. But there was one early morning, this rancher and his son, they went out to go herd the cattle, and they heard this loud humming overhead. Multiple witnesses, they just saw this cigar-shaped, metallic-looking UFO go right over them. And they've never seen a flying machine in their life. And so they're like, what the heck? And then all of a sudden they heard like, and they saw like a fireball and stuff. It just exploded. And then when people came across the scene, they report there was a humanoid-like creature that was half the size of a man. And then on the craft, there was strange hieroglyphic writings and stuff. But what they ended up doing was, supposedly, they took this body and gave him a Christian burial in their graveyard.
No way.
And they put like parts of the craft and put it in the same hole. It wasn't until the 70s where this investigative journalist went out there. And then he went and interviewed all the people that were kids at the time that saw the thing. He's like, it happened. And he asked about, is there anything weird? He's like, ever since that incident happened, on our farm, we've not been able to grow anything. And our family has had just these terrible sicknesses.
No way.
And a lot of doctors compared it to like radiation poisoning.
That's messed up, man. That's so scary.
Sage Wall in Montana. What do you think of that thing? There it is. Boy, that looks...
I mean, it really is hard to resist the conclusion.
I mean, it's super hard to resist the idea that that's man-made, and especially if it goes deeper under the ground, and they think it does. They think it goes...
Oh, it does. It goes deeper. That's what the ground-penetrating radar is about. 30 feet. I was yesterday...
Looks so man-made.
It really does. When I look at that, to me, that is a man-made structure, and it may be part of the lost history of the Americas. We just don't know yet.
Montana gang, where you at?
We go back to 1893 Chicago and the World Fair that took place in 1893. There are cacti all over the place. At the World's Fair, they have all these cacti. They are everywhere all over the World's Fair. And it kind of makes you wonder, was Chicago very warm at that time? Because cacti will not live if it's very cold. They will actually start to fall apart. So what they have done is they have sprayed these places continuously every winter season to give people the illusion that these seasons exist. And the more farther I would go back with the whole weather situation and changing the weather, it's been going on for a very long time. And a lot of the weather, when you look back in time, also doesn't match what it is today. So if you kept spraying these places, you keep people in the illusion that they are meant to have winter all the time. I've even started to think of many places as islands. Even like a continent, it's one big island. So it could have a very consistent temperature all the time. But if you mess with it, and you spray, and then all of a sudden you do this, now you can say, oh, it's wintertime. Oh, it's fall. You're feeling like fall. You need a pumpkin spice Monsanto poison coffee. And then you create all these different seasons, and then you create holidays, and you create all these things. And then it just repeats.
Genetic mutations in European royalty. Incest was always a common practice among European royal families, used to maintain power and preserve the bloodline. However, this strategy brought severe genetic consequences for many monarchs. Charles II of Spain, known as the Bewitched, was the result of 16 consecutive generations of inbreeding. He was born with the infamous Habsburg jaw, which prevented him from chewing and properly closing his mouth. Additionally, he was infertile, suffered from severe physical and mental issues, and had difficulties walking and speaking. His fragile health made his reign marked by instability. Another case was Leopold I of Belgium, who was born with disproportionately long limbs and suffered from heart problems, affecting future generations. Queen Victoria of England was a carrier of haemophilia, known as the royal disease, which spread across various monarchies, affecting Germany, Russia, and Spain. These genetic mutations shaped the history of nobility, leaving a legacy of illnesses and weaknesses.
Oh, that's creepy. That a game the whole family can play.
Here are scenes from a raging, dangerous war between rival tow firms around Toronto. The mob reporter here with details on an odd form of organized crime that has had an alarming rise across several cities of southern Ontario that are linked by the heavily traveled 400 series of highways.
Oof.
These are some of the busiest highways in the world, and there are a lot of collisions on them. Tow trucks racing to the scenes of crashes has always been competitive and is often rough and tumble. But in the last few years, things have evolved, into criminal towing cartels. This week, police branded them as bona fide organized crime groups who use extreme violence, threats, and intimidation to expand and defend their turf, their assets, and their interests. It's not just to get that initial highway towing job, but for the real money that comes after. Through bogus repair bills, car rental fees, fake medical claims, physiotherapy, inflated insurance payments, it's making them millions, police say. And that kind of cash has sparked a tow war that's brought murders, shootings, assaults, dozens and dozens of fire bombings and arsons.
And the Ontario police does not do anything about it?
Jaguar Wright was just presented an award at the president's home after everything that she said about Jay-Z and Diddy. And this is a huge deal. Jaguar Wright just got presented the Defender of Freedom Award after everything that she said about the whole music industry and Hollywood. And she was invited to this event to accept this award at Donald Trump's home in Mar-a-Lago. Jaguar Wright, a voice of truth and courage. Tonight, Jaguar Wright was honored with the Defender of Freedom Award presented by General Michael Flynn in recognition of her fearless dedication to truth and justice. As a bold and unapologetic voice in the fight for transparency and accountability, Jaguar continues to shine light where others fear to tread. Every single person that she called out better watch their backs. And what's even crazier, Jaguar Wright went to this event with Liz Crokin. Liz Crokin has been calling out Hollywood for a long time, but also, guys, Liz Crokin is the reporter that talked to Kathy White, Jay-Z's alleged mistress, before she passed away. Liz Crokin said in August 2011 she was working as senior editor for Star magazine, and her boss asked her to look into an online blog claiming that a woman named Kathy Coriana White was having an alleged affair with Jay-Z. She said that the blog that reportedly first broke the affair story was published by the Hollywood Street King in an article titled "Busted: Jay-Z Caught Cheating on Beyonce with Kathy White" in August of 2010. She said that she managed to get a hold of Kathy at her job in New York over the phone, and during their first conversation, she denied having an affair with Jay-Z. She said that she also claimed that she had never hung out with him or even met him. And then Liz Crokin said that she uncovered photos of Kathy White hanging out with Jay-Z and Diddy, no less at Teo nightclub in Las Vegas. So she called her back and asked her about the photo evidence that debunked her initial claim that she had never met or hung out with Jay-Z. And this is the photo that Liz Crokin was talking about. Now, Liz Crokin alleged that at this point, Kathy White expressed to her that she would consider going public with her story, and days later she tried to reach her at work with no luck. She said that she finally got a hold of one of her colleagues and asked if she knew why Kathy had been MIA, and her colleague told Liz Crokin that she had passed away. And this really is a huge deal after everything that we've seen Jaguar Wright say over the years, especially about Diddy, and then to see where Diddy is right now and what he's being charged with and all of the horrible allegations that's come out against him. And now Jaguar Wright is finally receiving a noble, amazing, incredible award for everything that she said is amazing. But y'all, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
They need to be careful and watch their back. But let me know how you feel about this in the comment.
The mass rape of young working-class white girls by mainly Pakistani men on an industrial scale. That is a rotting stain on our country's history. I do not say this lightly, but it makes me ashamed to be British. We failed those girls, and heads must roll. I want deportations, not just for the rapists, but also the family members who are aware of their heinous crimes. If that results in tens of thousands of deportations, then that is what must happen. I want prosecutions for anyone in any position of authority who knew about these savages and did nothing, or even worse, concealed their crimes. Not just their dismissal, criminal prosecutions must follow. Many of these monsters have even been released back into the same communities where the children they raped reside. Words appropriate on this stage cannot adequately describe what I think of these beasts. I don't want thoughts and prayers from government. I want action. Deportations of foreign nationals who have come to our country and committed serious crimes against the British people. Deportations of those arriving in our country illegally. Send a message. If you come here without permission, you will not stay under any circumstance.
There's this...
You know, Tommy Robinson made people aware of this years ago, and look where they put him.
Movie that is very, very disturbing, and it's actually banned in 40 different countries. What the cannibal holocaust. The director and producers of the movie ended up getting arrested for obscenity and charged for murder because of how real the scenes looked, right? I heard about this shit before. Yes. Not only that, because it showed real life animals dying, it shows one scene that caused question was there was a scene where a woman was being impaled and the court didn't know if it was real or not. The director ended up telling the actress to go to court so she could confirm that they were all alive and well. And now this is where it gets controversial because of the animals that died in the film. And again, the fucking overall plot of the movie is a good plot, but the way the director went about everything was like so up and inhumane, and it does not justify whatever he decided to do. Same thing with the actors that played a part in it. So again, trigger warning, bro, because these are actual shit that happened in the movie. There's a muskrat that gets gutted and its insides are fed to one of the tribe members. There's a monkey that gets its skull spliced for its insides are drank. Oh my gosh, bro. The most fucked up one is about a turtle. They end up bending it.
This sounds a little like Apocalypto. By the way, this is Carla, folks. Carla.
Was it in the Congo this week where it was discovered that the CIA was in fact forming a coup against the president?
What?
Banana massacre?
3 Americans were caught.
CIA?
Yeah.
Tax-paid
Yeah, I heard about this.
My taxes?
They're
in the Congo?
It's well documented of countless coups that the CIA has done throughout the entire world.
Yeah.
I'll give one example. I think it was Guatemala. They had this president who was basically giving the land back to the people. Big Fruit didn't like that in America because a lot of politicians had stake within the big fruit companies. They basically formed a coup. This is like 100% proven. And they built a militia army and they basically got the president out, and the U.S. selected the president that they wanted. And it was a complete dictator.
And sent 700 from the Colombian army in against the strikers, resulting in over 2,000 deaths.
Oh my gosh.
That's crazy. Quit eating bananas. At least the Chiquitas ones. That's crazy.
Dang, that's all we
Way.
buy.
Okay, America did this to Indonesia too, back in 1965, and they succeeded.
We now have video footage of a fire-breathing dragon flying outside of a passenger plane, and this looks pretty legit to me. And before you ask, no, it is not an AI video. I already went and checked. It turns out to be real. And this has been happening a lot more lately, because if you remember, just a few years ago, this photo was taken in China and it was all over the news. And don't forget, just a few hundred years ago during the Tartarian era, in our encyclopedias, dragons were listed as now rare. So that means they were a real species, but they had become less common. Now personally, I think that the flat earth German ice wall map from the 1940s is the hidden key to tell us where these dragons flew off to after we had been killing them in the Middle Ages, making them more rare. I think they went to one of these other continents that were not too far away from our own, and they probably went to a place such as Asgard or Terra Vista, the unexplored regions. I think this map shows probably what is actually out there, the closest out of any of these ice wall maps that we've seen so far.
Pretty AI to me, pretty CGI.
Beneath the Vatican, beneath the rituals, the robes, and the whispered prayers, lies something far older than religion itself. A 500-mile tunnel stretching from Rome to Jerusalem. A passage not built, but unearthed, leading into the depths of a forgotten world. They don't speak of it, they don't acknowledge it, because to do so would shatter the illusion they've carefully built, the illusion of time, of history, of control. What was hidden there? Gold. More than wealth, an unfathomable hoard. Enough to collapse entire economies, enough to reveal a deception so vast, it rewrites the foundations of modern civilization. It took 650 planes to move it to Fort Knox. But gold is just metal. The real treasure is what it represented: power, lost civilizations, erased epochs, forbidden knowledge. This wasn't stolen from kings or emperors, it was taken from the fallen. Tartaria, the old world, the ones who came before, those who understood energy, frequency, resonance, who built without rulers, who lived without chains. They didn't just bury Tartaria, they looted it, stripped its libraries, melted its symbols, carried away the remnants of its greatness, and sealed them under the Vatican, where only the chosen few would ever know the truth. But gold is dense, heavy, it drags with it the weight of memory, and memory is dangerous. Why move it now? What shift is coming? The controllers, the architects of this false timeline, always prepare for the next reset. Is it war, economic collapse, a restructuring so massive they can no longer hide what's beneath the surface? The Vatican stands as more than just a religious center. It is a fortress, a keeper of long-forgotten knowledge and history. Beneath its foundations lie tunnels stretching deep into the past, remnants of civilizations lost to time, their stories hidden beneath layers of secrecy. Much of history has been rewritten, reshaped to fit a controlled narrative. As vast resources are quietly relocated, one question remains: what shift is coming next?
Who are the controllers? By the way, I love this lady. Not only smart, she's beautiful also.
Being attacked is a sign that you are important enough to be a target. You should relish the attention and the chance to prove yourself.
If everything is easy in life, if everyone loves what you're going to do, and you have no enemies, you have no opposition, nothing to resist, you're just going to be mush.
Let the laughs, the mockery, the comments, the jokes that they cracking on the text chain, whatever it is they're doing, let that be the fuel to remind you that what God is doing, people are laughing, and they're laughing because they're noticing.
But if there's anything that you can take away from what we're saying right now, is that the sign of success is the hate that you get along the way. And what you can't do is bend the knee to their hate and fit back into the conformity because it's comfortable and it's warm. Because like in the Matrix, when Trinity opens the door, when Neo's about to go take the red pill and he wants to get out of the car, she says, Neo, you've been down that road and you know exactly where it leads. And I know that's not where you want to be. And then he closes the door. Like right now, this moment that you're going through is Trinity opening the door and being like, you could go back, but then you'd have to remember exactly what the reason was that you decided not to go out to begin with, just because you listen to this podcast and you consume this content, you're like, I can fucking do more than this.
Let them laugh now. Just make sure that you get the last laugh.
We have a significant update about the massive 7.4 magnitude earthquake that struck off the coast of Taiwan just about a half hour ago. The Philippines has now issued an urgent tsunami warning for its residents. In addition, the Japanese government has urged all residents to immediately evacuate the island of Okinawa, which is south of mainland Japan. And the scenes coming out of Taiwan are absolutely devastating. We have already confirmed reports of multiple rock slides and landslides as a result of the earthquake. This is an apartment building. It's a video of an apartment building that is now half collapsed as a result of the earthquake just about 30 minutes ago or so. And importantly, the threat is not over. The tsunami, according to reports, could be up to 9.8 feet. And Taiwan is still experiencing multiple aftershocks, which are significant. One aftershock being over 6.4 magnitude. This is an extremely serious natural disaster that is impacting millions of people. And it's important right now that we say a prayer for all those in the path of this possible tsunami and all those that were impacted by the earthquake earlier today. And as soon as we have more information, I will provide it to you, so be sure to stay tuned for all the news you need to know about.
America is waking up to news of yet another
Wow, I didn't hear this anywhere in the news. Did you? God, please help those people.
Elon Musk having a 13th child with influencer Ashley St. Clair is not a story that I would typically cover, but an interesting detail about Ashley caught my eye, and now I'm down a rabbit hole. WikiLeaks just exposed that the mother of Elon Musk's child, Ashley St. Clair, is being managed by PR strategist Brian Glicklick. Brian Glicklick. That's hard to say. Anyway,
I like that.
The important
name.
part is that Brian has received $598,000 from an Israeli security firm. Here's the original WikiLeaks citation coming from the Times of Israel, which led me to think, is this a Mossad honey trap situation? This led me down the whole Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky rabbit hole, which, if you don't know, she may have allegedly been Mossad. This is an article from 1999, which talks about how Israel blackmailed Bill Clinton with Monica Lewinsky tapes. Yes, the steamy talks between the two of them were captured by Israeli intelligence, allegedly. Details came from this book, Gideon Spies: The Secret History of the Mossad by Gordon Thomas. Then about a decade later, another book came out that pretty much corroborated the same story, except this time with the added detail that the Clinton-Lewinsky tapes were used in order to negotiate the release of Jonathan Pollard, who was an American intelligence official turned Israeli spy. Quote, a New York Times article from November 1998 reported that the two leaders, referring to Netanyahu and Clinton, had discussed Pollard's release during the ill-fated conference, and that the Israelis had told the president something that opened up the possibility of Pollard's release, something the Clinton administration had explicitly ruled out during the first 6 years of his presidency. The Times article noted that a White House spokesperson told a reporter that Clinton was simply newly impressed by the force of Netanyahu's arguments. Isn't it interesting that time and time again, president after president, they have all found Netanyahu to be impressive and convincing? Anyway, back to Elon. What could they be wanting out of him? I can only conjecture. But one thing we do know about Elon is that he used to be pretty pro-free speech. Here's an article from November of 2022 saying that he's going to grant amnesty to suspended Twitter accounts that the ADL deemed to be anti-Semitic and anti-Israel. A couple years ago, Elon actually blamed the ADL for causing Twitter/X to lose advertisers. But then he, meets Ashley St. Clair May of 2023, as the reporting goes. October 7th happens. November, Elon is taking a trip to Israel to quote-unquote learn the truth. And then he reverses his previous stance on free speech. And now in 2025, the ADL is defending Elon for, an awkward gesture. All this is, of course, conjecture, but I will say that the timeline is a little sus. What do you think?
There's definitely Mossad inside the U.S. government.
All right, if you don't already feel like you're living in a sci-fi movie, this might do it for you. I got a weird one today, but it's also kind of a good way to make money if you need to. This site is called Payman AI, and it's AI that pays humans. Basically, if you weren't aware, AI is becoming capable of doing more and more things. It's replacing a bunch of jobs, and it's exciting and scary and all that. But this is a really weird side effect of that. AI is really good at a lot of things, but there are some tasks that people are still better at. And Payman is a marketplace for AI to use to hire people to do things it's having trouble with.
What?
Let's say someone creates an AI agent to make social media accounts. And in order to do that, let's say the AI has to solve a CAPTCHA. If the AI has trouble with this, it can use Payman to hire a person to solve the CAPTCHA for them. So yeah, well, some people are using AI to do little tasks for them that are difficult. Some AIs are using people to do little tasks for them that are difficult, which is weird, but also means that if you ever need some money, you could go on a site like Payman and get hired by an AI to do something that takes fingers or eyes or whatever. So have fun with that.
Does the AI pay taxes? Hey, man, I just noticed you fixed your tooth.